Now, are there people that are more difficult to read than others?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Do
the
some
ones...
people just completely close you
Sure,
out?
sure. It's like what Lynn said before. If someone says, well, you're supposed to go to a psychic and you're supposed to like not give them any information, and you sit there like this. Guys, that's like trying to climb Everest in sneakers. There's no grip. Or there's the other way, which is, well, you're supposed to lie in your head about your name and where you live and what your kids are called, because if she looks at you and says you're lying, she's good. I don't think so. So if you want to have a reading with us, please be open to what we're going to say. Also, there are certain ethical boundaries. I will not do what's called remote spying. Remotes, if you want to know about your kids, mothers may spy on their children any way they want, know that. Or if they want to have a relationship reading on a guy they're with. But let's say that Betsy and Bob broke up. Betsy could not come to me and say, I want to know if Bob is dating Patsy, because neither Bob nor Patsy asked me for the reading. That's remote spying. Okay? So think about it. Would you want somebody coming to me and asking about you without your knowledge? Probably not. So this is simply a matter of golden rule.
Okay, and who has questions? I know you guys have to have questions for Corby today. She's going to be giving readings. Okay, we're going back over here. What would you like to ask Corby?
What is the remote difference that separates, like if I went to a psychic one time and, the person, I was one of those types, my name is Sean, my money, I don't believe you. I pretty much said it to her, pretty much,
We get
So
those.
she said, you're going to be married, you got 4 kids, okay, I wrote that off. You're going to be successful, I wrote that off. You're going to travel, I wrote that off because I look like a guy that travels, I look like a guy that's successful. You're going to read, if I look at you, I look like, maybe you would enjoy such and such because of maybe the clothing you wear. But the thing that really shot me down was I was expecting a note in the mail that was determined something that was really important in my life. And she said that to me and I was floored. And I'm just trying to say, which could go into a different question too, how do you, the whole ESP, the whole,
how do we do it?
Yeah, it just puzzles me because, some of it's just generic. You could just say anything. Of course, people want to hear what they want to hear. You know what I mean?
There are a couple of different kinds. No, I understand. He's saying, if I get this, first of all, your name is?
Sean.
Okay, Sean. If I get it right, what you're asking is, how do we know that they're not just plucking things out of the air?
Pretty much, yeah.
All right. Some of the things are going to be what you know. They're called verification readings. If I, a perfect stranger, look at you and tell you about the project that you've been thinking and I tell you exactly how you plan to do it, those are your guides and your angels going, dude, you know already. What are you doing with a psychic? Go do it. What I do is I clear out. If I worry about, am I accurate, what's my percentage, how good am I, then that's my ego getting in the way. So what I do is I move aside and I say, okay, God, I'm the garden hose, send it through, and I will tell you exactly what I get. And it may not make sense to me at the point. But if the person sitting across from me goes, there you go. An example, someone came to me and wanted to get a past life. And I told them what I saw, and then I said, I'm not sure why I'm saying this, but there's a huge connection with Inverness. Inverness is in Scotland. Well, after the reading, she told me that her entire family comes from Inverness and it's traced back to the 1200s. How did I know that? I didn't. The guides put it through. Generally, you'll get the information that you need.
Yeah. I was just floored by that. How do you feel about your views about ESP? And, I'm sure everyone in this whole group has some type of thing.
I love it.
They realize repetitively and they're just nervous about it.
I want every single person to realize that they can do what I do, Sean. I'm not special. Everybody is wired like the same blueprint on a house. And those of us that can do it, our circuit breaker is down, let's put it that way. People who are terrified of this and think it's Satan or whatever, unlocked and rusted shut. People who think they can't do it, but they always know who's on the phone, or they are always out of the house when their mother-in-law comes over, that's a short in the system. But for those people who think that this is Satanism, sorry, but when I all of a sudden could do the hands-on healing and talk to dead people with no training in '94, that's like Acts chapter 2. Go read your Bible. I got drafted by the man upstairs to do this in service. And as long as my ego is not in the way, and I do it to heal, I do it to empower, and I do it to comfort, then I'm doing God's work, and that's where it is.
So even though I have no natural ability of doing this,
You
I
think.
can someday do it.
Absolutely.
If
What
I
it
study.
is you haven't, your wires are crossed, John.
Okay.
You haven't gotten the stuff to flow. Anybody can do it. There's a wonderful thing I call Brooklyn meditation for people who say they can't meditate. You sit down every morning for 15 minutes with a pencil and a piece of blank paper, and you say, okay, God, it's me. I'll shut up now. And you start writing what you hear. And in the beginning, you'll hear things like buy laundry detergent, plaid fire engine. Why am I doing this? The trick is not to judge it. Write and listen. Write and listen. And then all of a sudden, one day, you're going to hear something that says, your niece got an F in school and she needs to talk to someone and her mother doesn't understand. Where did that come from? But you call and bang, that was correct. That means that you're getting stuff through your wiring. And anybody can do it.
So it takes practice.
Absolutely.
To do this.
One of the reasons that I'm good is because I do this basically 6 days a week, 52 weeks a year. I do take Wednesdays off. And when I go to a show for a weekend, I'm reading anywhere between 30 and 50 people in a weekend. That's like going to the gym every day. So my psychic muscles are good.
Is there any, there's so many different, I hope this is the right phraseology, universal trends of reading. Like some people do candles, some people do things. Have you ever tried to do it as something that's never been tried yet, like made your own type of thing?
Yes-ish. Let me give you the ish. When I get a deck of cards, people know tarot. That's your classic card. When I get a deck of cards, and there are many, many decks now that are not like a tarot deck, but they have like 44 angels or fairies or whatever, I will sit with that deck and I'll say, okay, guys, how do you want me to read you? And they will give me a certain spread. They'll tell me how to ask certain questions. The Courageous Souls readings that I do, they are an amalgamation. I'm in a book called Courageous Souls, Do We Plan Our Life Challenges Before Birth? When I do a Courageous Souls reading, we look at what the life challenge is. We look at how the numerology backstory feeds it in. We look at how lives have brought this back time and again. The old saying, there's nothing new under the sun, is absolutely correct. People have been doing psychic work for thousands of years, right back to the Greek oracles. I don't think I'm good enough to find something that nobody's done.
Don't underestimate yourself.
Oh, John.
Now, do you do astrology at all?
Actually, I
You
don't. I don't. I believe in it, absolutely. Astrology and numerology are very precise. Think of them as tab A into slot B sorts of things. Astrology is very good when you're trying to figure out when to get married, what to name the baby, when to open your business. So is numerology. You can get the vibration of, between 3 houses, or what phone number should I use for my business. The other things, dream analysis and tarot and scrying and things like that, that's a much more subjective sort of psychic work where you can get ideas and feelings about what's happening, but it's not just one answer.
But what we read in the newspaper, under
Oh,
Virgo.
that's like, for instance, I'm a Pisces. Pisces are supposed to be sweet and dreamy and not. Why? If you look at my full chart, I am a Pisces with a Virgo moon and a Virgo rising. Virgo is the exact opposite side. Virgos are very organized and very precise and everything that a Pisces is not. But because I've got the double Virgo in my chart, I say I'm a flake, but I'm a really organized flake. So that's why the little bit you get in the paper is right for this much of you. But if you really go into astrology with a full progressed chart, there's so much you can learn. Fabulous tool.
So very generalized.
Yes, yes.